Okay, this had better be important. I got your message 15 minutes ago. Whatever happened to the whole we go our separate ways after the whole cannibal thing? What are you talking about? Here. I know you are looking for the hidden tomb of Sangral. I have vital information that will help you on your search. Meet me in the lower tunnel of the Nubian pyramid dig at 2:30 a.m. It's 2:30 a.m. What? No, I didn't. Here, give me that. I didn't send this. What the hell is going on? Why is it stuff like this only happens when you're around me? I don't get it. I checked the schedule this morning. There was no digging and definitely no blasting scheduled today. Hold on, I have a lantern in my bag. There we go. It's a little. Oh, God. Look at that. The rocks are blocking off the entrance. Okay, deep breaths. Figure this out, and I can go back to my hotel room and sleep. What? Let me see that. You found this in your coat pocket? And it's not yours. It's addressed to both of us. This isn't yours? What in the world? To my two favorite bums. No doubt you've both fallen into my ingenious trap. While you two community college dropouts dig yourself out from that useless excavation, I will be making the discovery of a lifetime. Without either of you buffoons getting in my way, what in the... My only regret is I can't be there in person to see the dumbfounded expression on your imbecilic faces as you read this letter, signed Edmund Fogel, the best relic hunter on Earth. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to dig myself out of this mess. I'm going to track that slimy weasel down, and I'm going to beat him to death with my Ivy League PhD. I can't believe I fell for it. He did the exact same thing a few years ago in Tibet. I was so close to finding the ring of Namiskaila, and then one day I get a message from a Sherpa who knew the location of the entrance to the secret burial grounds of Kwalang. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in a Bangladeshi prison with 28 pounds of illicit drugs planted in my suitcase. It took me 2 weeks to prove my innocence, and by that time, Fogel had already made off with the ring and the treasure. Oh. I can't be the only one. Didn't he trick you into going to Scotland or something? Oh yeah, that's right. The sword of King Davis the Fourth. He stole your maps from the hotel and then modified them so that while he was out discovering the crypt, you were in waist-deep in like swampland or something, right? Yeah, I had a pretty good laugh about that. Well, we were rivals at the time, remember? Anyway, what matters now is that we get out of this useless tunnel, find that rat, and beat him. Harshly. Come on. If we start digging now, we may be able to squeeze out of here before nightfall tomorrow. I suppose it's possible someone will find us, but this section of the excavation dead-ended. They were going to seal it off next week. I guess Fogel beat them to it. We need to find a way to get him back for this. Okay, what if we pretend to be French scholars that made an incredible discovery in the catacombs? something earth-shattering, something he couldn't possibly resist, right? And then when he flies out to France, we put him out in like a hotel, and then we go there disguised as room service, right? And then we bring up a bottle of expensive wine, and then when he opens the door, we break his kneecaps with a baseball bat. We'll call that a work in progress. Hold on a minute. I thought the report said this section of tunnel was dead-ended. There was no visible significance. Take a look at this. It looks like hieroglyphs. They were, looks like plastered over to look like a dead end. The blast must have shaken parts of the plaster off. It just flakes away. Amazing. Here, give me a hand for a second. Unbelievable. All this time we thought this was just a useless excavation when this was under our noses the entire time. It looks like a complete history of the Kushite kingdom. It's in a very old dialect of hieroglyphs, but it makes sense for the area. I don't believe it. It says this is where King Shabaka stored his most valuable possessions. Now, that sounds to me like a figurative and literal treasure trove of artifacts. It's unbelievable. We would have never known about this place if that slime ball hadn't trapped us in here. Whoa, it's weird. I never get this lucky. Am I dreaming? Here, pinch me. Ow. You didn't even hesitate. Okay, fine, not dreaming. Look at this. It's been nearly perfectly preserved. Huh? Yeah, we can dig ourselves out later. This is the discovery of a lifetime. Look at this over here. Oh, well, this is very interesting indeed. So, in English, we have different terms for importance. Hieroglyphs are a little more vague. When we say something is important to us, it's usually a good thing, like family or possessions or status or whatever. But importance in hieroglyphic context is a neutral term. Lots of things are important, both good and bad. This looks like what was of most importance to King Shabaka was an adversary, or perhaps an enemy. He's depicted as a bringer forth of death, a trickster, some kind of like maybe a liar or something like that. People around him fell ill, animals fled, even the ground he walked on rotted beneath his feet. Oh, come on, don't give me that look. If you had even a speck of sense, you would know royal hieroglyphs were always blowing things out of proportion. King Tut was depicted as 30 feet tall and could make night and day at will. Doesn't mean it was true. Whoever this enemy was, it was probably just some guy who pissed King Shabaka off really bad, so he had the scribes carve him as a demon or evil god or whatever. Let's see. King Shabaka killed this adversary and then had him entombed here forever. And to prevent anyone from digging him up again, cursed the place, blah, 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 whatever. It was the same hieroglyphics at the Giza dig and the Aswan excavation as well. Anything a king didn't want dig up, he would generally hide it, and then if there was anyone who wanted to find it, he would put a bunch of warnings around it to warn bandits or grave robbers and stuff. But this one's a little strange, however. It depicts a specific person trying to dig the evil guy up, or maybe a group of people. They're not drawn like bandits or thieves. Generally, these look like scholars or maybe followers. Maybe the evil dude had like a fan club or something. Maybe like a lesser king or a king long forgotten to time, perhaps. It's a little hard to make out, but it looks like his name was Horam. Huh. Weird. Anyway, this wall tells a story, but it seems to be more like a puzzle. For what, I have no idea, but it is possible that this is some kind of door. Well, it would make sense, wouldn't it? A puzzle to keep out those who would try to pillage this place. And why would I start digging exactly? This is probably the biggest find of my whole career. No, I'm going to open this door. It may even have a way out. Interesting. Okay, I think I got it. The mural depicts a variation of the sun and moon story. The way it goes is the moon broke off of the sun, and now the sun chases it around the sky trying to become whole again. Normally, the story goes that if the sun ever caught the moon, the world would be forever enveloped in daylight. But in this depiction, when the sun catches the moon, it transforms into a black sun that scorches the earth and lays waste to all of civilization. There are these discs at the bottom with symbols on them that seem to rotate freely in place. In the 4 discs, there are like 14 symbols per disc, plus one large symbol in the center. So lining up each symbol with the correct direction must be the way to open the door. It's more than likely only the king and a handful of advisors would have known the precise combination. Fortunately for us, I happen to be an expert in ancient hieroglyphics. You see, the story is the combination. Some of these hieroglyphics are inverted, which is strange until you realize that inverting a symbol means the opposite of its normal meaning. So, in context, the symbol for food or feast, when inverted, becomes famine. Okay? So, the disc with the sun rotates to the black sun, with the crop rotates to famine, and the moon rotates to the sun. And then I guess the final one, the king, rotates to our dead guy, Horum. Oh, wow. Incredible. Whoa. Look at this place. A complete burial chamber, untouched for thousands of years. Oh, if this doesn't put me on the map, I don't know what will. Oh, fine. Us on the map. Whoa. Huh. It's a little strange. All the torches just ignited. The mechanism must have been connected to the opening door. No, I've never seen anything like it either. It's crazy it's still functioning. Wow. These hieroglyphics are incredible. Each wall perfectly spaced away from the tomb, and depicting a ritual of some kind. The detail is incredible. Whoever is entombed here must have been quite the adversary. Did you hear something? Okay. The door just closed. You know, at this point, I'm not even surprised. Like, whatever, let's just check it out. It's entirely possible it was a trap, but it hardly makes any sense. Why would you put a puzzle on the door to keep people out and then lock them inside once they solve it? It's much more likely the mechanism that was holding up the door just failed after a few dozen centuries of not opening. Which I suppose is much worse. Best to think positive, okay? How is your ancient languages? Better than nothing, I suppose. Take a look at the walls. Maybe the ritual holds some clue as to what this room actually is. I'm going to start translating the inscription on the door. It's different from the others. At a glance, it almost reads like an instruction manual or like a recipe. Do you have a notebook handy I could borrow? Yeah, that'll do. I'm going to start translating. It's entirely possible this is the key to getting out of here. Okay, I think I've got it. What have you found out? I'm not sure that I follow. Are you saying it's some kind of spell? How odd. No, you did translate it correctly. The top of the wall literally reads, actions to bind a soul. Some kind of trick? Maybe to confuse those followers who were trying to dig up the guy? I'm at a loss as well. Anyway, I made some good progress with the door. This describes the burial rites of Horum. It's quite different from the traditional entombing. It seems like they skipped over the removal of the organs altogether and instead just packed the body in dry salt. An incredibly expensive process. Perhaps the removal of the organs was reserved for royalty alone? Either way, the salt would preserve the body to an incredible degree. It may even be possible to rehydrate the cadaver. No, I'm afraid not. It doesn't seem to say anything about how to open the door. Were you able to find anything else? Might be worth a look. Let's see. You might be right. That definitely looks like a keyhole of some kind, and the hieroglyphics are making reference to it. It's something called Horum's crux, or perhaps cane. Some sort of ornate piece of treasure, maybe? Wait, no, I've seen this before. On the wall. During the burial, it was mentioned. Right here, it's oh no. It was placed in Horum's hands before he was mummified in the tomb. Now I know most of the time us archaeologists take great care not to disturb the artifacts, but in this particular situation, I'll rock, paper, scissors you for it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, dang it. Best 2 out of 3. Okay, fine. I suppose this was my fault anyway. Okay. Give me a hand pushing the lid off. Okay. Not the best smell, though I guess not the worst. Do you remember that time in Myanmar when I hit a giant carp in your sleeping bag in 36-degree weather? Oh. I thought you knew that was me. Well, anyway, the salt looks to be dry enough to start digging. Do you have any... Okay, fine. You know, it's kind of funny. I was in Kuwait a few years back at this dig in the middle of the desert. Our camp was hit with a shamal, like a sandstorm. The sand piled up on our tent so deep it collapsed on us in the night. With rags around our faces, we stumbled around in the pitch blackness until the tent was cleared off and staked back down. When we emerged the next morning, our excavation had disappeared. The whole thing. 10 days worth of digging, filled in, and even our flags and markers were nowhere to be found. It's funny to think about now, but at the time I was completely disheartened. I was so exhausted and frustrated, I was just minutes away from packing up my team and heading home. In times like these, I remember that feeling of hopelessness, but I guess then I remember what happened next. We picked up our shovels and started to dig again. Even though we weren't even sure where the original dig was, we went back to it and just started digging. I mean, it took another 15 days, but eventually we unearthed what could only be described as a perfectly preserved foundation and enough pottery fragments to keep a entire archaeology department busy for 10 years. I suppose it's all perspective, right? I'm starting to see something. It's canvas bandages. Looks like we found them. Oh, we have to remove some of these bandages. The crux was placed in his hands before he was wrapped. Don't suppose you have a knife on you? Of course you do. Come on. Thank you. Oh. Wow. I've never seen anything like this. The salt has perfectly preserved the body, just like I suspected. This really is the discovery of a lifetime, even though it is quite gross. Oh, and there it is. The crux. Just need to carefully remove it from his hands, and we can open the door. Gently. Come on. Carefully. Got it.
Wano Daikono. Thousands of years imprisoned here, desiccated and left to rot. But now who comes to release me of my curse and return me to my rightful place? Tell me, loyal descendant, for how long have I been here to ponder my return? Why do you stare mouth agape like a festering swine? Speak. So long. Thousands upon thousands of seasons. How many generations of my disciples have lived and died to finally bring you here to free me? I can see into your soul. You speak the truth. Ripples of circumstance cast through time brought you here. The name of Horum, my name, you have never heard. My existence buried like my altar form, hidden away from the world until my name vanished from time entirely. From the hot coals the hammer is struck. My rightful place atop the world is assured once I am free from this place. And you, the ones who heard my whispers and set forth to break my curse, for you my reward will surpass any mortal penance. Of what do you desire? Him, the body of which I reside. Of what do you care of his fate? I see into his mind, a past of petty quarrels and strife at his hands. My subsumation of this form is to your favor. I offer you reward without restriction of your petty existence, and you fret over this mortal's form. Even after all the chaos and anger he once caused you, rummaging through the dirt for meaningless scraps of so-called civilization long dead and buried. Is that all you desire? Pitiful. Even for such a pathetic creature. Of what I offer you, nothing of this world can compare. Break my curse and take your place at my right hand. Join me as I return this world to its rightful state. I will black out the sun, freeze the oceans, and every creature small and large, will bow before me and my might for all eternity. And as for my right hand, they will bow to you as well. I can smell your soul. It craves power, prestige, wealth beyond your fondest imagination. Why else would you spend your days writhing in the mud for scraps of history? At my command alone, you will become more powerful than your feeble mind can comprehend. Billions will bow at your feet, and they will erect tributes in your honor, towering into the sky for all to see. You will want for naught, and have every craving satiated from now until eternity for what I offer you. Even time cannot take. Free me, and claim your reward. Good. Your desire speaks for itself. The unbinding will take but a moment, and then your true life may begin. Take my crux. Now repeat the words I speak exactly. Tehonda Mahan. Sever the ties that bind my form. Ratamalam. Purge the magic that ensnares my soul. Drakai Sunra. Clear the path that blocks my exit. Moheb Daran. Return to me what was stolen. Excellent work, my right hand. Your task is almost complete, and with it my power. Bring unto me clean water so that I may purge the salt that binds, and I can finally regain my true strength once again. What have you done?
Yeah. Ugh, okay. Ugh, okay, not gonna lie, that sucked. Ugh. What was this? Salt water? How did you know that would work? Oh, it's on the wall. Good stuff. Okay, I guess I owe you one. Do you still have the crux? Good. Use it to open the door and then break it in half. When whatever that was in my mind, I was in his. I saw his power, his intentions, and his weakness. Snap that thing in half, and you destroy whatever's left of him. Oh, my head. What? Why do you want me to break it? I guess I do owe him for taking me over like that. Oh, and you're not sure what'll happen. Okay, fair enough. Here goes. Can I ask you something? Were you tempted to take him up on his offer? I mean, he was clearly never going to honor his side of the agreement. Like, sharing power was, never on the table. But what if, Yeah. I suppose being immortal and worshipped would get boring after a while. It would take a long while. Probably a few hundred lifetimes, but eventually, I suppose. Well, at least you had the foresight to clear the rocks. Let's get out of here. God, I have a hell of a headache.